So what do we got?
Cause of death was catastrophic internal bleeding and blunt force trauma. There were injuries to his neck, vertebrae, fractured jaw, and extensive damage to the skull. There was bleeding on the brain, as well as a hemopericardium and a cardiac tamponade.
In English, please.
Hemorrhaging around the heart.
So what could cause that? Like a fall or an attack?
Now, the injuries were consistent with a pedestrian being hit at a high rate of speed by a large vehicle. Must have been a truck or an SUV.
Was the deceased impaired in any way?
With the preliminary autopsy indicates no contributing factors. There was no alcohol in his system, and he wasn't under the influence of drugs.
What about medical conditions?
Well, body showed no signs of suffering from any maladies or terminal illness. There wasn't any indication in the preliminary blood work that he was on medication for depression, so I can't think of a reason a relatively healthy man would step in front of a speeding vehicle.
Maybe the vehicle was aiming for him.
According to CSI, there are no tire tracks or skid marks. So if he was hit by a car, there's nothing to indicate the driver swerved or tried to brake.
What about traffic cameras?
Unfortunately, it was a rural stretch, not covered by cameras.
We'll have them canvass here. There's got to be a building or a gas station somewhere with a camera.
They're already on it. Oh, but there was something interesting. Get this. The guy had 3 IDs on him.
Can you check them out?
Yeah, and they're all legit.
There's no...
CSI said he had 3 valid pieces of ID on him. 1 US, 1 Canadian, and 1 from the United Kingdom.
What, were they aliases or all the same name?
All the same name, which makes it even more confusing.
Yeah, especially because you can't be a resident of 3 different countries.
CSI is on their way to his hotel room. He was staying at the Metropolitan, registered under the Canadian ID.
Right, run his DNA through CODIS and check his fingerprints too, I guess.
We'll run it through every database we have.
Yeah. Hey, Chase, be sure to flag it for intelligence services too. So what else can you tell me about the condition of the body?
As I said, there were multiple traumatic injuries, but there was one thing that stood out. He had a significant bruise on the left heel.
Is that unusual?
Actually, yes, since it was starting to callus.
So what does that tell you?
It indicates it wasn't a fresh bruise, and it certainly didn't come from the impact of the vehicle striking him. I found that odd. So we looked into his left shoe, and we found this under the lining.
Can you do me a favor and bag that? Thanks. And don't mention this to anyone, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Hey, we got a hit. Fingerprints match up with the UK ID, Jameson Forsyth.
Yeah, hi, Dante.
Hey, where are you?
I'm at GHY.
Can you meet me at the morgue? There's something here I think you gotta see.